Hello students, this is our fifth lecture of thermal engineering. In last lecture we have seen about the first law statements of first law of thermodynamics, then zeroth law of thermodynamics, then limitations of first law of thermodynamics, then second law of thermodynamics statement. Two statements are there, Kelvin Planck statement and second is the Clausius statement. Then today we will see the very important part of this chapter, chapter number 1, steady flow energy equation, SFE. In that, consider, to understand steady flow energy equation, consider an open system. This is an schematic of typical schematic of open system. So in this type of system, both mass as well as energy can be able to transfer across the boundaries. That's why this system is known as a open system. Okay, so if you see the diagram, then this is the inlet, this is the outlet. Then if you see the inlet which is at a certain height Z1 here, we can see here the inlet at height Z1 and the outlet which is at the height Z2. Then the inlet area is A1 here. Okay. Then the velocity of the flow is V1 at the inlet. Then the pressure of the fluid at the inlet which is P1. Then the similar conditions for the outlet are velocity of the fluid, that is V2, that means A2 into L2. Then area at the outlet, that is A2, then the pressure which is P2, and the outlet which is rest at a height of Z2, so that we will get the steady flow energy equation SFE, that is Q minus W, that is equal to V2 square minus V1 square divided by 2 plus G Z2 minus Z1 plus H2 minus H1. Here Q is heat supplied or heat entering to the open system. Then what is W? W is the work done by this system on surrounding. Then V1 is the velocity of the fluid at the inlet. Then V2 is the velocity of the fluid at the outlet. Then G is the acceleration due to gravity. Then Z1 is the height of inlet from the datum. Then Z2 is the height of outlet from the datum. Then H1 is the enthalpy at the inlet, enthalpy of the fluid or the steam at the inlet. Then H2 is the enthalpy at the outlet. So that we have seen all the notations of the steady flow energy equation. That means whatever the notations of steady flow energy equation, Q, W, V1, V2, then G, Z1, Z2, H1 and H2, that we have seen. Okay, so in examination for our syllabus also, the derivation of this is not for the syllabus, so that we can directly take the steady flow energy equation, that is Q minus W, in first bracket V2 square minus V1 square divided by 2 plus G Z2 minus Z1 plus H2 minus H1. So for our diploma syllabus, we have only to write the steady flow energy equation and apply it to the various devices. Let us see which are those devices. So Let us see the first device, that is steam nozzle. Before that, we will see the construction of nozzle. This is the convergent divergent type of nozzle, so that it has a one convergent cone here. Then this is the divergent cone. This is a throat which is at the center of or the joining at the joining of both convergent and divergent cone. Then the inlet which is at the height of Z1 here. Then the outlet of nozzle which is at the height Z2. Then if we see the kinetic energy at the inlet, that is Ke1 here, then kinetic energy Ke2 here, then the inlet parameters P1, V1, T1, then enthalpy H1, then the velocity of the fluid or the steam, that is V1. Then let us see the outlet conditions. Okay, so this is the P2, V2, T2, then kinetic energy Ke2, then enthalpy H2, velocity V2, then outlet height, that is Z2. Now, to apply the steady flow energy equation to the nozzle, so first we have to write the steady flow energy equation, that is Q minus W is equal to, in first bracket, V2 square minus V1 square divided by 2 plus G Z2 minus Z1 plus H2 minus H1. This is the first step. We have to write the statement of or the equation of steady flow energy equation. In such a type of question, what we have to do, we have to write first step, we have to write the steady flow energy equation, then put the various conditions about that device, about the behavior of that device. Then after putting that conditions, we will get a final refined equation, and that refined equation is the applied steady flow energy equation for that particular device. So we have written here the steady flow energy equation, and now we are going to set the conditions for the nozzle, this first device, that is nozzle. So first condition is that the pressure energy is converted into the kinetic energy. The pressure energy is converted into kinetic energy. That means, what does that statement indicates? That means the pressure at the inlet which is converted into the kinetic energy at the outlet, so that the kinetic energy at the outlet increases than the inlet. That means, as the kinetic energy at the outlet increases, that means Ke2 is greater than Ke1. If the formula of Ke kinetic energy is 1/2 mv square, so that obviously the V2 is greater than V1. V2 is greater than V1. If kinetic energy 2 is greater than kinetic energy 1, that means Ke2 is greater than Ke1, then we can conclude that V2 is greater than V1. Then height of inlet is equal to height of outlet from the datum, that means Z1 is equal to Z2. Okay, that is already that can be seen in the diagram. Then, as no rotating parts in a nozzle, so no work is produced. The logic is that when there are rotating parts in any type of device, then there may be a chances of production of mechanical work. So that nozzle is a steady device, static device, so that no rotating parts, so no work is produced, so that W is equal to 0. Now if you see the diagram, then there is the hatching outside wall of the nozzle, so that what does it indicate? It is the insulation provided to the nozzle. That means there is no heat transfer, there is no energy transfer, as it is insulated. That means Q is equal to 0, no heat transfer to the surrounding. so that Q is equal to 0. So let us again see the conditions. First is the pressure energy is converted into kinetic energy within a nozzle, so that Ke2 is greater than Ke1, so that V2 is greater than V1. Then height of the inlet is equal to height of the outlet, so that Z1 is equal to Z2. Then no work is produced as no rotating parts, so that W is equal to 0. Then no energy transfer because the nozzle is completely insulated from outside, so that Q is equal to 0. Then after putting all these conditions into the SFE, steady flow energy equation, after putting all these conditions, first condition Q is equal to 0, W is equal to 0, so that here 0. Then we know that Z1 is equal to Z2, so that term also becomes 0. Then H1 minus H2 minus H1, but as we know that H1 minus H2 is equal to delta H. H1 minus H2 is equal to delta H, so that we will get the equation, that is delta H is equal to minus mCp delta T minus mCp delta T, T1 minus T2. Okay, that is the standard equation. That is not coming in a previous curriculum, but as per the requirement of this curriculum of thermal engineering, we have to take it as a direct, because we want to use that equation into the explanation of this application of steady flow energy equation to the nozzle, so that minus delta H is equal to, so that after the calculation we will get minus delta H is equal to V1 square minus V2 square divided by 2. Then that 2 goes to the next side, so that it becomes minus 2 delta H is equal to V1 square minus V2 square, so that we will get the equation V2 square is equal to V1 square, because that V2 square goes to that side and that minus 2 delta H comes to this side, so that both minus becomes plus, so that V2 square is equal to V1 square plus 2 delta H. By taking the square root of both the sides, so that we will get V2 is equal to square root of V1 square plus 2 delta H. V2 square is equal to V2 is equal to square root of V1 square plus 2 delta H, so that V2 is equal to square root of V1 square plus 2 mCp delta T is T2 minus T1, so that final equation number 3, V2 is equal to square root of V1 square plus 2 mCp T2 minus T1. That is the final ACP for the nozzle. Let us see the application of steady flow energy equation for the turbine. Okay, so that as we know that the steam, high pressure high temperature steam is supplied to the turbine, and into the turbine, after the flow of steam through the turbine blades, the turbine blades get rotated, so that rotor of the turbine get rotated, and the mechanical work W that is produced, so that turbine is a device which convert high pressure high temperature steam into the mechanical work, the kinetic energy of high pressure high temperature steam into the mechanical work. So let us see the conditions. Obvious, the Z1 is equal to Z2, that means inlet and outlet are at the same height. Okay, then heat is rejected by the turbine, because whatever the steam that is coming out of the turbine and which is given to the condenser, so that heat is rejected by the turbine at the outlet, so that as per the sign convention of heat, we are taking the heat as a minus Q because the heat is rejected. Then the work is produced by the turbine. Work is produced by the turbine. As we know that if the device is producing work, then we can say we can take it as a positive, so that that work is positive. Then putting all these conditions into the steady flow energy equation, Q minus W is equal to V2 square minus V1 square divided by 2 plus GZ2 minus Z1 plus H2 minus H1. In this equation, if we put above all the three conditions, then we will get that in the place of Q we are placing minus Q, in the place of W we are placing a positive W, so that we will get minus Q minus W. Then nothing said about the kinetic energy. Then as Z1 is equal to Z2, so that term also becomes, here also becomes 0. Okay, then only what remains, H2 minus H1. Then by multiplying with negative sign to the, or by changing the sign of whole equation, so that we will get Q plus W. In first bracket, V1 square minus V2 square divided by 2 plus H1 minus H2. Okay, after changing the sign of all the terms, we will get Q plus W is equal to V1 square minus V2 square divided by 2 plus H1 minus H2. Okay, so the equation number 3 is the final SFE for the turbine. Okay. Now the third device, that is steam boiler. Steam boiler. As we know that what is the application of steam boiler, because this is a heat absorbing device, so that the heat is added into the boiler. As it is a heat absorbing device, the heat is added into the boiler. The water which is stored inside the boiler, that is get heated, and the high pressure high temperature steam that is produced. That means by absorbing the heat of fuel or a coal, after the burning of coal, whatever the heat is liberated, that is absorbed by the boiler system or the water inside the boiler, and due to that the water is heated and the steam is high pressure high temperature steam is produced. So if we see the conditions, Z1 is equal to Z2, that means the inlet of the boiler is equal to the outlet height of the boiler. Then as no rotating part, so no work is produced. Then no changes in kinetic energy and potential energy as like nozzle or as like turbine. So Ke1 is equal to Ke2. As Ke1 is equal to Ke2, that means V1 is equal to V2. That is obvious. Then as the chemical energy of the fuel is converted into the heat energy, and that heat energy is supplied to the water, then water get heated and the high pressure high temperature steam of the water is produced. Okay, so heat is equal to Q. Heat is equal to Q because the heat is supplied, that means it is positive heat. No work is produced, W is equal to 0. Then Z1 is equal to Z2, no changes in Kp, that means V1 is equal to V2. Okay, so applying all these conditions to the steady flow energy equation, so that we will get, after application of all these conditions, we will get Q minus W is equal to V2 square minus V1 square divided by 2 plus the middle term, that is GZ to Z1, that becomes 0 plus H2 minus H1. Then W is equal to also 0, so that we will get finally Q is equal to 0 plus 0 plus H2 minus H1. Finally we will get Q is equal to H2 minus H1. So that the equation number 2 is the final equation for the steady flow energy equation of the boiler. Now the next device, that is steam condenser. Actually the steam condenser is a device which is after the turbine. That means whatever the steam that is coming out of the turbine for the condensation purpose, which is given to the condenser. That means the steam is condensed inside the condenser. That means that steam is converted from gaseous form into the liquid water. So condenser is a device which converts the steam from the high temperature steam from the turbine into the liquid water. That means the heat is rejected in this process. Heat is rejected to the cooling water in this process. No rotating parts, so that no work is produced. No changes in KEP, so that V1 is equal to V2. Also Z1 is equal to Z2, because the height of inlet and outlet from the datum is same. So that now applying all these conditions, first condition is Z1 is equal to Z2, that means inlet height is equal to outlet height. Then W is equal to 0, that means no work is produced as no rotating parts. Then heat is rejected, that means Q is equal to minus Q, because the heat is rejected. As we know that the sign convention, already we have seen the sign convention. Then no changes in KEP, so that's why V1 is equal to V2. So that applying all these 3 to 4 conditions, we will get that minus Q is equal to 0 plus 0 in bracket H2 minus H1. So that finally after changing the sign of all whole equation or all the terms, we will get that Q is equal to, here Q is equal to H1 minus H2. Okay, so this is the final equation for the steady flow energy equation of a condenser. Okay, then the fifth device, that is reciprocating air compressor. This is a device which compresses the air at a lower pressure. This is a device which compresses the air from lower pressure to the higher pressure. That means P2 is greater than P1, because the pressure of the air goes on increasing. That means the inlet pressure which is less than the outlet pressure, and the outlet pressure which is greater than the inlet pressure. That's why we will get the condition, that is P2 is greater than P1. Then again Z1 is equal to Z2, as the inlet height is equal to outlet height, so that Z1 is equal to Z2 here. Then heat is rejected due to the friction into the air. The heat is rejected to the air. That's why Q is equal to minus Q. Then no changes in KEP of the air, so that V1 is equal to V2. So okay, so applying all these conditions, we will get that Q minus W is equal to V2 square minus V1 square divided by 2 plus GZ2 minus Z1 plus H2 minus H1. This is the steady flow energy equation. And applying all these conditions, which are those conditions? Q is equal to minus Q. Then work is consumed by the, that means work is required to be supplied by using a motor or by using a engine, so that the work that is supplied, so that work is negative work, so that it is a minus W is equal to minus W. Then the first term, that is V2 square minus V1 square, that is also becomes 0, because no changes in KEP. Then inlet and outlet datum height is same, that's why that term also becomes 0. So that finally we will get that minus Q plus W is equal to H2 minus H1. So that finally we will get that after changing the sign, Q minus W is equal to H1 minus H2. Then Q is equal to H1 minus H2 plus W. This is the final equation, steady flow energy equation for the air compressor. Then the final device, that is sixth device, that is engine. Engine is a device, as we know that what it does, we are supplying a fuel, that fuel is get burned inside the engine cylinder. The heat energy is produced, whatever the heat energy produced, that is applied to the piston, so that the piston get reciprocated, so that the crank is get rotated, crankshaft is get rotated, and finally the engine shaft is get rotated. Engine shaft is get rotated. That means the heat is supplied. Heat is supplied in this case. The heat is supplied and the work is produced. That means both heat as well as work, both are positive. Both are positive. Then the inlet is equal to, inlet height is equal to outlet height. No changes in KEP. So that's why V1 is equal to V2. V1 is equal to V2. Then heat is added to the engine. That's why Q is equal to plus Q. Q is equal to plus Q. Now applying all these conditions to the steady flow energy equation, what does that? Q minus W is equal to V2 square minus V1 square plus GZ2 minus Z1 plus H2 minus H1. Then there are two types of conditions. If the heat is rejected by the engine to the surrounding in a cooling, in that case we will get Q is equal to minus Q. Q is equal to minus Q, so that we will get minus Q minus Q minus W is equal to H2 minus H1. So that finally we will get Q plus W is equal to H1 minus H2 when the heat is rejected to the surrounding. Then condition number 2, if the engine is insulated from outside, engine is insulated from the outside, so that no heat is rejected. No heat is rejected. That means Q is equal to 0. So that we will get what? We will get what? Whatever the work produced, that is calculated by using this formula. W is equal to H1 minus H2. W is equal to H1 minus H2. Okay. So in this way we have seen all the steady flow energy equations for the various devices. Okay, we will revise it again. For the nozzle, we will see the conditions. First condition is that the pressure energy function of nozzle is to convert the pressure energy into the kinetic energy. That means the kinetic energy at the outlet is greater than the inlet. So that Ke2 is greater than Ke1, that means V2 is greater than V1. Then height at the inlet is also same with the height at the outlet. That means Z1 is equal to Z2. Then as no rotating parts, so no work is produced. No work is produced. Okay, so then no energy transfer is possible because the nozzle is insulated from outside. That means Q is equal to 0. Then applying all these conditions, we will get this equation, that is 0 is equal to V2 square minus V1 square divided by 2 plus H2 minus H1. H2 minus H1. As we know that H1 minus H2 is equal to delta H, that is MCP T2 minus T1. MCP T2 minus T1. But as we require T1 minus T2, so that after arranging it T1 minus T2, so that we will get delta H is equal to H1 minus H2 minus MCP delta T. That means minus MCP T1 minus T2. T1 minus T2. So that we will get delta H is equal to V2 square minus V1 square divided by 2. So that 2 goes to another side, so that it comes minus 2 delta H is equal to V1 square minus V2 square. Then we will get that V2 square is equal to V1 square. V2 square is equal to V1 square plus 2 delta H. V2 square is equal to V1 square plus 2 delta H. After taking the square root, we will get that V2 is equal to square root of V1 square plus 2 delta H, that means V2 is equal to V square root of V1 square plus 2 MCP T2 minus T1 here. Okay, then second device, that is steam turbine. As we know that inlet height is equal to outlet height, that means Z1 is equal to Z2. Then second condition is that heat is rejected by the turbine, that's why the Q is equal to minus Q. Work is produced by the turbine, so that the work is produced, that is positive W. Applying above all the conditions, we will get that finally we will get that minus Q minus W is equal to, in bracket, first bracket, V2 square minus V1 square plus H2 minus H1. Now by changing the sign of whole equation, we will get Q plus W is equal to V1 square minus V2 square divided by 2 plus H1 minus H2. Now the third device, that is steam boiler. As we know that this is a device which converts the liquid water into the high pressure, high temperature steam. That means the heat is added into the boiler so that it is a positive heat. No work is produced, so that W is equal to 0 because no rotating parts. Then no changes in KEP, that means K1 is equal to K2, that is V1 is equal to V2. Then Z1 is equal to Z2 because the height of inlet and outlet from that atom is same. Then applying all these conditions into the steady flow energy equation, we will get that Q minus W is equal to V2 square minus V1 square divided by 2 plus GZ2 minus Z1 plus H2 minus H1, so that Q is equal to 0 plus H2 minus H1, so that finally we will get Q is equal to H2 minus H1. So that equation number 2, which is the steady flow energy, final steady flow energy equation for the boiler. Okay, so the fourth device, that is steam condenser. As we know that the steam condenser absorb the heat of steam, that means the heat is rejected to the cooling water, so that Q is equal to minus Q. No work is produced, so that W is equal to 0 because no rotating parts. Then Z1 is equal to Z2. Then no changes in KEP, so that V1 is equal to V2. Applying all above the conditions, we will get that Q minus W is equal to V2 square minus V1 square divided by 2 plus GZ2 minus Z1 plus H2 minus H1. This is the standard steady flow energy equation, and after application we are putting all these conditions into the steady flow energy equation, so that we will get finally the equation, that is minus Q minus 0 is equal to 0 plus 0 in the first bracket H2 minus H1, so that finally we will get, after changing the sign of both the sides, we will get Q is equal to H1 minus H2 here. Okay, the fifth device, that is reciprocating air compressor. As we know that, what is the function of air compressor? It compresses the air from lower pressure to the higher pressure, so that the work is consumed, because it takes up the work produced by the motor, electric motor, or by the engine. Then the heat is rejected in a air, so that we will get the hot air from the air compressor. So as the heat is rejected, so that Q is equal to minus Q. Work is consumed, that means W is equal to minus W. No changes in KEP, so that V1 is equal to V2. Applying all these conditions, we will get finally minus Q minus W is equal to 0 plus H2 minus H1, so that we will get finally, after changing the sign, Q minus W is equal to H1 minus H2, so that Q is equal to H1 minus H2 plus W. The final device, that is engine. As we know that engine is a device which absorbs the heat energy produced and converts it into the equivalent amount of work, not equal amount of work, equivalent amount of work, because there are a lot of losses, and into that losses the energy is lost, some amount of energy is lost. Then let us see the conditions for the engine. As we know that Z1 is equal to Z2 because the height of inlet and outlet from the datum is same, no changes in Kp, so that V1 is equal to V2. Heat is added into the system, so that Q is equal to plus Q. Heat is added because the heat is added inside the engine. Then applying above all these conditions, we will get the equation that is Q minus W in first bracket V2 square minus V1 square divided by 2 plus GZ2 minus Z1 plus H2 minus H1. So putting all these conditions, and one condition, important condition, that is the heat is rejected in a cooling water, in a friction, in a exhaust gas, so that we will take the Q is equal to minus Q, so that minus Q minus W is equal to H2 minus H1, so that Q plus W is equal to H1 minus H2. This is the SAP for the engine. Yeah, then take a second condition. If the engine is insulated, so no heat is rejected to the surroundings, so that Q is equal to 0, so that W is equal to H1 minus H2. Then applications of second law of thermodynamics, that part we will see in a next lecture. Okay, so thank you.